If you already own or are thinking about buying one of these, a Hydrow Wave, in this week's video, I'm going to show you how to move your Hydrow Wave safely, a couple of options for storing it as well, and finally how to transport this Hydrow Wave if you need to take it to another place. Let's get cracking. The lead that comes with your Hydrow Wave is this long. So the first step is to switch your machine off, unplug it, and move this lead well out of the way. Next step is to check your ceiling height. The Hydrow Rower is 82 inches long and I've got a ceiling height of 86 inches, so I've got space. Interestingly, this is 4 inches shorter than the original Hydrow, but they've made the rail here exactly the same length. It's quite a clever piece of design. The next step is just to remove this pin here, and then you can lower the screen down and you can put the pin back in so you don't lose it. After that, I'm just going to put the seat all the way forward, otherwise when you lift it up at the end, you get that. The next thing to look out for is this. See this sharp edge, hard edge here? See this wall? Now, because of where the Hydrow Wave pivots, which is here, when you lift it up at this end, it's going to put a lot of power, like a fulcrum and lever, in this direction. So you just need to make sure you don't put a hole in your wall. The good news is though that the Hydrow Wave gets onto its feet really quite early, so you can start wheeling it away from the wall almost as soon as you've picked it up. And even though the Hydrow Wave weighs 100 pounds, because all of the weight is kind of here, when you're lifting from this end, it's actually very light. It's actually pretty stable in this position, but Hydrow recommend using the anchor kit if you're going to store your Hydrow Wave upright. If you're thinking about buying the upright storage kit or either Hydrow, I'll put a link in the description which will take you to the best price on their website. I only recommend fitness equipment on this channel that I actually like and more importantly use very often, and those links also help support the channel, so thanks very much. One thing you might not know is that you can store the Wave in two parts. So when this Wave isn't here, it's because the original Hydrow is. I alternate between the two. And when I store this, I actually store it in two parts. And this is probably the biggest USP over the original Hydrow that the Wave has, is that down here, look, let's get right in. Can you see it? There is a little bolt there, which means you can easily split it in half along this joint. And although this bolt has an Allen key head, it also has like a finger thread on it as well. Let's see if I can show you. There you are, can you see? So there's the Allen key part, and then you can unthread it there with your fingers with this. And this goes in and out very, very quickly. And once out, these halves can be easily separated, and then you can store it in a much smaller space if needed. Putting the two halves back together, it's just as easy, and then you just pop the bolt back in when done. If you're going to transport your Hydrow Wave, you can either cover this with bubble wrap or towels. Personally, it's so easy to remove the screen that I would just take it off. Step one is just to remove these two cables. They come straight out as you can see, and then you just unscrew these two screws. And once the screws are out, you just bring the bottom of the screen forward slightly, and it just comes straight off. This e-Golf is on my drive, but it isn't a car that I drive. Look at the state of that. It is that time of year in the UK. And I've put the seats down, and this is a mid-sized car in the UK. I would say this part is probably a two-person job. I'm unusually strong. But it fits in here, no problem at all. And there's even enough room to put one of the back seats back up. In conclusion, if you're moving the Hydrow Wave on its wheels, it's much easier to do than it is for that original Hydrow. For transporting it, as you can see, it fits in the back of the mid-size hatchback very easily. It's like a Petri dish in there. And for storage, you can either store it upright with the upright storage kit, or do what I do and just store it in two halves. And that's it, the Hydrow Wave. Until next time, see you soon. Well, it looks like all that time on the Hydrow actually paid off.